Okay, well, we want to welcome you to our little cast iron network show featuring demos, Dutch ovens, and dogs. And you are looking at the Sweetie Pie class, and you guys all have a little handout there in front of you. My name is Gaye Ann Grace, and I'm known as the Booze Pie Queen, and I'm going to tell you how I got that name here in just a little bit. And this is my sweetie pie of a husband, Curtis Grace. And this is my good friend, Dawn Mills. And she's known as Queenie, and she'll be doing the afternoon class on breads, and she'll tell you how she got that name, and her husband, Jim. Excited to be here and share this with you. Actually, Dawn and I did the 2009 National Dog Hands-On classes at Osage Cove in Oklahoma, out on Call Lake. And so we're carrying on the tradition here, and then looking forward to even doing it in Arkansas next year.
They already have us booked.
Yeah, they do. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach you the first part of it, and then we're going to let you guys do it. So I'm going to model it, you guys will do it. And then we'll move on to the next part. I'll model it, you guys will do it. We'll do it until we get the pie in the oven and then taken out of the oven at the end. If you're following along inside your little handout, you will see that we will need 6 cups of flour and 2 teaspoons of salt and a half a teaspoon of baking soda and a third of a cup of sugar and 1 cup of shortening. And usually we want that to cool down, and it's best if you have it in the refrigerator and then use it. And then 1.5 cups of unsalted butter that's really cold. Now the butter is cold. And then we'll put our liquid ingredients are 2 eggs, so 2/3 of a cup of cold water, and 2 teaspoons of white vinegar. Okay, so we're going to start out by going ahead and putting our flour and all of that together, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use our little pastry blender, and you want it in like little pea size. Blend it in there really good, and then once we get it blended in there really good, and then we'll take our liquid ingredients and we'll pour our liquid ingredients over the top of it. All right, let me repeat that. Right now you should have your dry ingredients in your big bowl. You should have your flour, you should have your salt, your baking soda, and your sugar. Okay, and you should have blended it up with your little pastry blender. Kind of mix it all together. Then what you will need to do is take your Crisco that you've got, and you need 1 cup of Crisco, and you need 1.5 cups of unsalted butter. And if you cut it up with your little paring knife or somehow dice it up and then put it in your bowl, then it'll be easier for you to blend together. We are on our way to make some delicious double-crusted fruit pies, getting that pastry dough all fixed up. The pastry dough that you are actually putting together is it's based off of an Amish recipe that I found many years ago. This is the same one if you took our classes in 2009 at Osage Cove off of Call Lake in Oklahoma. This is the same recipe. It's just doubled to make it into a double crust pie. Okay, now you've got your liquid ingredients mixed in your small bowl. You have blended it with your wire whisk. And if you will just take your hand and make a little well in the middle of your flour mixture, and then dump your liquid ingredients in the middle of your bowl there. Then you're going to take your big cooking spoon here, and then you're going to stir it, and you're going to incorporate it all together.
Okay, so stop and look up here for just a minute, please. Your dough probably won't all come together as one big huge ball.
Until we work it.
You can keep working it until it gets there, but the more you work that dough, the tougher it's going to get. So if it's like this,
We're gonna mold
you
it
can still push it together and mold it when you get ready to roll it out. So don't keep just working it and working it and working it.
They didn't see what you're doing.
Okay.
Right?
You got to
Okay. It does not have to be one big hard ball in your pan.
Right. Then Then take your hands, once you get it all incorporated with your spoon, then you can take your hands and you can just push it gently until you get it into that ball form. And then we're going to bring around some plastic bags, some Ziploc bags, for you to be putting your dough inside it. And we're going to have to mark them because we need to put them in the cooler and let them chill for just a little bit. Okay? Okay, once you get your name on your crust, and if you would hand it to one of our Oklahoma friends, and now your friends too, that are here to help us, if you'll give them your dough with your name on it, we're going to get it put into an ice chest and get it started to chill down for you. Okay, while we move on to the next step. We are ready to move on to the next step. So if you just kind of want to clear a little bit of an area out in front of you, because we're going to work with a few more different items to do the next step. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to get your Dutch oven ready. While that pastry dough is cooling down, we're going to get your Dutch ovens lined and ready so that we can be able to pull your pie directly out of the Dutch oven. So set your Dutch ovens up on the tabletop, please. Okay, all right. What we're going to give you here in just a little bit after I kind of model this for you is we're going to give you 2 sheets of parchment paper, okay, and we're going to make strips, and we're going to put 3 strips inside of your Dutch oven, okay, and they're actually double layered strips. And I've kind of explained this process in your handout. So after I've shared it with you, if you want to read it over and add any notes to that, you're welcome to do so. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make 3 strips going across here. Then we're going to secure those strips down with some clothespins. Okay? And then when you actually put your dough inside of the pan, the base of the clothespin will tell you where you need to really cut your dough to. That's the top of your pie. Okay? Then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out a circle out of the parchment paper, and we're going to lay that circle then on top of those strips. Okay? So that's getting your Dutch oven ready. So you don't have to spray it down, you don't have to do any of that, because you know your dough has a lot of fat already in it. It has all that Crisco and all that butter in it. So you don't really need to spray it down at all. Okay? Can show you how we're going to go about doing this. This is commercial style parchment paper, but you can purchase parchment paper at Walmart as well.
Yeah, right there.
There it is. There is regular parchment paper from the grocery store, Reynolds. There you go. This is commercial brand. This is a 16 by 20, I believe. 16 by 20. You're going to fold this into thirds.
Have a math lesson in every cooking show.
Okay, so this is folded into thirds, and then we're going to take scissors. My other pair is better.
Not when I make them fall apart. She said the other pair is better.
Call 13.
Okay. And then we're going to cut along our folds.
This is where I get to do it.
You usually do this, don't you, Curtis? This is usually what I have Jim doing when I'm doing the filling or whatever also.
Alright. Okay, so Dawn's going to hold up 1 strip right there. And keep looking. Okay, so now you have 3 strips. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fold this strip in half. Now,
another math lesson.
When we first started trying to learn how to do pies, boy, I wanted to make sure I had a sturdy piece so I could pull this out with it. So I folded it and I folded it. And I had a little visit with Matthew yesterday about this. If you have too much of a fold, if I would have done this, the color of the crust on the outside is going to be a lot lighter than the rest of it because that heat has to go through that. So, and this is plenty of strength to be able to get it out. Okay, and you have a more of an even tone if you can leave it in just 2 layers. This is one of those tips that Terry Lewis taught me as well. So wanted to share that with you. So Curtis is folding the other strips and he's laying them in the oven, and we're going to show you how to go ahead and secure them down and to kind of fit them in there. You're going to have to fit them inside the pot. And
I can do it.
The clothespins. Okay.
You can do it.
You can use those metal clips. You can use metal clips too. You don't have to use the clothespins. I went ahead and purchased the clothespins because they were a little bit cheaper for our show. So, but anyways, Curtis is working that.
And he is pushing it down right to the very edge, and then he's holding it there when he pins it. So that because if you get that up away from the bottom, then obviously it's going to be in the way of your dough when you put your dough in there.
Okay. We're just going to wait just a minute because this is kind of one of those important steps to see the whole process and kind of understand how you're going to end up getting that pie out of the oven. You can see how he's working those strips around that bale, so you don't have to really mess with the bale when you're trying to cook it and pull it out. Okay. Okay.
Okay, show it, Curtis.
Okay. There we go. All right, Curtis will hold it up so you guys can see. That is how you're going to position. Hold it way up, honey. That's how you're going to position your strips, your parchment paper strips. And like I said, you can do the same thing with the kind that our participants have in the boxes from the stores.
Well,
Take a bow, Curtis.
Isn't my sweetie pie husband just so fun? He is so fun. Okay, then the next step that we do is that we're going to take this parchment paper, and of course I told you I'm giving you 2 sheets, so you're actually going to get 2 circles out of this, so you can save one for later if you wish. And we're going to send you home with parchment paper, restaurant supply parchment paper today. And then we're going to also send you home with these cardboard circles, which I'm going to tell you what you're going to do with those later. But for right now, what you're going to do is you're going to use these as a pattern to make your circle, your parchment paper circle that's going to go into the bottom of your Dutch oven. This is a 10-inch diameter, the distance going across the object, the 10-inch diameter circle will fit into a Dutch oven. That was one of those things that you also learn as you do this, is that this is called a 12-inch Dutch oven, but the diameter inside is 10, and for a 14, the diameter inside the 14 is a 12. So you kind of have to kind of stair step your sizes when you're kind of doing anything.
At the base.
Baking, yeah. Okay, you guys ready to line your parchment yes, that would help if you guys were all kind of hinted to bring a pen so you can make some notes. So hopefully somebody, you or your partner or somebody at your table has an extra pen so that you can outline your 10-inch circle that goes in the bottom.